Welcome to Healthcare Disrupted, where conversations, topics, and innovators share how they are disrupting healthcare to change a cookie-cutter healthcare system to become more innovative, creative, and result-driven. Now, here are your hosts, Renee Lumain and Jasmine Vilas.
All right, welcome back to Healthcare Disrupted. I'm your host, Jasmine Vilas.
And I'm Renee Lumain.
Today is September 6th, and this is our 8th episode together.
We definitely want to let you guys know that we have a wonderful guest today. Her name is Lena Thompson, an entrepreneur who has 20 years experience in consulting and problem solving. She helps practitioners to discover the most advanced breakthrough in the field of biofield resonance technology so that they can help their clients to achieve an optimal state of health and well-being through frequencies and energies of the nature. And so with that being said, Lena, welcome to Healthcare Disrupted. We're happy to have you today.
Thanks, Renee and Jasmine. It's really great to be here. Thank you for having me.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. And, this is our first time actually having a guest from the UK on our show. And so we are really excited about that. So definitely, this is awesome. This is great. And I'm curious to know, what part of the UK are you actually from?
Well, I'm not from UK actually, but I am living in UK. I'm based just outside of London in a leafy green area known Surrey.
Okay.
Surrey, oh yes.
I
know Surrey. No, I don't know about enough. I have some friends that are from Surrey, but I love saying it because it just sounds so cool to say when you know how to say it properly. You're not like Surrey. Yeah. You say, I'm from Surrey. Yes, I love that. My favorite accent that just kind of happens naturally is from friends and things. Is that if we're relaxing with friends, I seem to evolve into that accent. I definitely butcher it. It's a beautiful accent. From the UK, but it's amazing.
I mean, I don't have a British accent. Mine is a mixture of Russian, Israeli, South African, and English. So,
I know. Yeah, I hear the South African, definitely, which is interesting. Yeah, South Africa is beautiful. The accent from South Africa is a really gorgeous one. You've got a nice mixture of the world there and those accents.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Well, so today our show is going to focus on holistic and natural way of living. And, for me, for all of us, I think, we are in the healthcare industry. And I know typically, whenever, patients have an issue wrong with them, the first thing they think about, hey, I want to go to the doctor and get checked out, maybe run a couple of tests, and maybe the doctor will have medication that are more chemical based, as a way of being treated. But I think nowadays people are probably looking at other options, especially from the holistic standpoint. And so before we dive deep into this topic from the holistic and just a natural way of living, definitely want to learn a little bit more about Lena Thompson and just have a better understanding as to, how you got into this, healthcare industry, and especially coming from an IT background. So if you don't mind kind of sharing that with us.
Sure. So, my interest has always been mind and body connection and health and wellness. But, when you're a teenager, you're not really sure what you want to do in life. And especially when everybody's kind of into computers. Those days, it was 1990. So I've decided to study computer science because everybody thought it was a good idea. Right. So, but as I was kind of drifting through my IT life, as it is, I've also qualified as a Reiki and NLP practitioner. But I think, everything really happens when it's meant to happen. You have to be ready for certain things in your life. And back then, I wasn't ready. I was all over the place. I was anxious. I was stressed. I felt like something was missing. I didn't know what it was. I was constantly looking for answers, and I was finding them nowhere. And the big change for me really happened in 2018 when I discovered works by Dr. Joe Dispenza. And I started reading his books, meditating. I've attended his workshops, and that's when I realized, hang on a sec, you know, I have no idea what my purpose is, but I need to find it because I can't carry on really living my life that way. And, you know, I think through meditations and really getting to know yourself and having that quietness, that time to really figure out what's important and shutting that outside noise, you begin to realize many things, you know, that are missing from your life. And one of them was to basically reignite a passion for mind-body connection, which I've pushed aside because I've moved through so many countries in my childhood. I literally kicked into survival mode.
Wow.
And just rediscovering this interest and the passions within me led me actually to starting my first company, and then the things kind of evolved from there, and I got more and more involved with energy healing through Dr. Joe work, and I've seen how people have literally healed themselves within minutes with energy healing, and I witnessed so many amazing and spontaneous recoveries from some serious chronic illnesses that I knew that, you know, my life just can't carry on the way it was. So that's basically what got me started on the journey.
Beautiful.
Wow. Wow.
That's incredible. Can I just say that, Lena, so Renee had introduced this episode to me, and I wasn't quite sure exactly what we were going to be talking about, but here's the beautiful thing is it's a bit of a collision between my two worlds, and he probably so I'm way into exactly what you're talking about here, into yoga and meditation and mindfulness and mindful living. And obviously it's somewhat considered atypical when you think about healthcare, right? But as Renee was just saying, what we've moved towards is really in modern medicine is medicine, right? It's health. It's not really healthcare. It's really sick care. It's like, how do we just treat that one little thing? And instead of saying, how do we let our bodies be brilliant the way that they were designed so that they can have their own evolution of self-healing. So I'm just excited to have this conversation with you. I just wanted to say that as you were saying. And then you said Dr. Joe Dispenza, and I said, okay, I know exactly where we're headed. This is wonderful. So thank you, Renee, for this.
I knew Jasmine was going to jump all over this because, Jasmine does yoga. Let me tell you, you got to follow her on Instagram, because I'm like, man, I mean, just looking at, at her pictures is just always peaceful. And I know just for myself, for me, I usually like to go to the gym and do my weight training. But I remember when, one time when my wife, she went to a yoga class and she said, hey, come try it. And I went, and let me tell you, I almost basically cried because, man, you have to be flexible, but at the same time, it was such a relief after I was done because, because the room was dim. It was kind of peaceful, quiet, and I love that, and so I think that, there's something about that peace and quietness and just, I guess kind of closing yourself off from the world, right? And just kind of honing into your inner being and just, I don't know, it to me, it just does something for me. And I'm pretty sure, Jasmine, that for sure. And I'm sure as well as Lena. So definitely it's amazing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I love yoga. We used to have hot yoga, Bikram. I don't know if you probably don't get it.
Yes.
With COVID, they shut down all the studios, but that was amazing. And I used to run marathons, ultra marathons. And I remember one time I came out of the class after 90 minutes and I collapsed. And I say to the instructor, I'm like, I've done so many races, but after 90 minutes, I said, this is the worst. I mean, it doesn't even come up to like 15, 5 hours of running this up the mountain in Cape Town, not even close. I was finished. It is pretty tiring.
Yes, and that's when you were like, okay, I've got to figure this out. I'm going to keep coming, right? That's we all did that. So you get that introduction into yoga and realize that it's so different than other exercises or movements. I mean, I'd say that. I mean, and then you spend enough time on your mat when you find that as you were saying, Renee, and both of you really said that peacefulness and that quiet where it evolves from just that physical movement to now there's some sort of meditation happening in that movement where you're creating the space where your mind is just there. And I think that's the interesting thing about Bikram that I found when I used to practice it very well regularly, that there's really nothing, you cannot focus on anything else in that room than anything else outside of that room, because the room is so intense. Like there's the heat, there's just the silence. It's deafening. Like there's no music in the room. And so
Wow.
you're just there with you. And that was for me, that was probably a bit of the turning point for me in yoga. Like I was always, you kind of look around, and maybe your mind wanders and but because the conditions are a little bit more intense in that room than other yoga classes, your mind is where it is at that moment, and everything is wiped away.
Yeah, and sometimes go there was like, oh, I've got to do this, and I've got to pick up the kids, and then after like half an hour, like, what was the problem? You like can't even begin to remember what the issue was. You're just like grasping for air, I guess. But all of this worries, is gone, which is amazing. Yeah, I miss that.
Yes, I know. Hopefully we'll get that back soon with this post-COVID.
Absolutely. And so I wanted to know, Lena, what are the 2 companies you started, and what were some of your big challenges when you first started these 2 companies?
So when I was a Dr. Joe Dispenza workshop in 2018, we did this walking meditation where we walk into this vision of our future. And I always visualize this, there's going to be financial abundance. And for some reason, I have this 2 aspects, or the 2 parts of my life. One is where I work with elderly people. I don't work, but I help them to be less lonely and to have this new memories, because so many of them are stuck at home, and it's very personal to me. And that will be like a charity, but I mean, I've got lots of money to give the charity and support them somehow. I don't know how. And then another one was working with orphanages and providing leadership courses for them. So that was my visions I had in every meditation. And the charity that I had in my head, I gave it a name, Driving Miss Daisy, as in the movie Driving Miss Daisy. So when I got back home, I started researching the charities for elderly people. I thought, I've got to take action. Meditation is great, but I need to do something in a 3D world also. And I came across a charity called Age UK, and they said to me, look, there's a lot of charities, but there is a local franchise. It's been running for 5 years. They've got branches all over the country, and they're called Driving Miss Daisy. So why don't you get in touch with them? And that just blew my mind. I was like, well, that's exactly what I called my charity, a few months ago.
Wow.
So before I knew it, the owners, there's another franchise about 15 miles away from my house. They came over, they talked to me about the business. They've been running it for 5 years. Nothing made sense to me. Numbers didn't add up. I was like, I've never run a business. I didn't even understand the purpose of marketing. And I was like, let me do this. It just felt so right, So that's how I started my first business. And the challenge was, many, I had to borrow the money, to write cash flow projections. I had to talk to people. Being in IT, I didn't really have to talk to people.
Yeah.
I was just behind my laptop and just program away, and just leave me alone. I had to hire people because I also believe in outsourcing. I knew I had bigger dreams and visions for the company than just me driving behind the wheel.
Right.
So there was marketing was the biggest thing. I was like, that's what marketing is for. People need to know about me.
Right.
Yeah. So, and it's digital marketing. I found out, I was like, oh my gosh, it's like my world opened up, and we actually won a digital marketing award last year. That was pretty amazing.
Wow.
Yeah. And only after a couple of years. That's phenomenal. That is phenomenal.
It was after 3 months, after 8 months, we won a social media master of the company amongst 60 other branches in UK.
Wow.
That was, that was pretty amazing. And because of the type of clients you're working with, a lot of them are in pain, physical, mental, emotional, sometimes all 3 combined. It's just exactly what you said about the medicine, and they actually weren't getting better. They were either the same or having so many side effects.
Correct.
That I was like, look, they're not going to meditate. It's not just going to resonate with them. They're not going to do any energy healing work. And I thought there must be something out there that could help them.
Right.
And just by chance, I guess nothing is by chance, but one day I was at a networking event where I came across the concept of the energy wearable products, like little stickers almost that you put on your body, and they change your energy level. They raise your vibration and your frequency, and it helps people, you know, with aches and pains and memory and so many things. And I was like skeptical, I guess. I thought, if that stuff works, right? I mean, it would be amazing. So I remember I took like a couple of patches home, and my mom was my first guinea pig because she had a injury in her shoulder and she hasn't slept in months. And I just put a few patches on her, and next morning she was like, I don't know what you put on me, but the first time in months I slept and I have no more pain. And I was like, maybe it was a fluke, right? You just can't believe
it just happened to be the day. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe it's a fluke. So I called my driver, and I know her mom, she's in a care home. She's about 93, and she's in a lot of pain with her knees, with her back, no memory, like really, really poor memory. So we drove to her care home, and we put some more on her, and we left. And half an hour later, my driver, her name is Melanie, her phone rang, and it's her mom, and she says, I want to get up and go dancing. She said, I feel amazing. I don't have any pain. Yeah. And another incredible thing happened. Her memory returned. She started remembering things 10, 15 years ago, and that just blew my mind. So, and it was like case after case, you know, and then COVID happened.
Yeah.
So, you know, I mean, I couldn't go to my clients anymore in care home, old age home, but that's fine because we took it all online, right? So, I mean, LinkedIn has been amazing, and everything else. So that's basically been what I've been, you know, doing the last few months.
I love it.
Wow. So I'm curious to know, and so you said this was your mother, right? That you test this product on?
Yeah, my mom was my first guinea pig.
And so from the time she first started to when you started noticing improvement, like what was that time frame like? Was it just a couple of months or?
Immediate. She said within like an hour she felt like a warm tingling in her body, and the next day all her pain was gone, and that was 6 months ago, and her pain hasn't returned.
Wow.
That's incredible.
That's amazing.
It really is.
Now what is the cost for this?
What is it?
The cost, like how much would it cost somebody to get this product?
Well, it depends because you've got a range of products, but for like one that I specifically use on my mom, so that's called Relief. And just to give you a little bit more background, what it is, it's a hologram. So it's a patch. It's like a clear plaster, like this big, and it is programmed with 100 different frequencies, and also energy frequencies from 6 different essential oils. So when you place it on your body, it gives your body the energy and frequency it needs in order to affect the energy around you. And it's basically the whole concept about the biofield. It's fix the field, fix the matter. You know, it's all of the most of our illnesses occur because of the disturbance in our energy field, because we're vibrating too low. And when we raise our vibration, we're capable of pretty much self-healing ourselves. We've got all of this pharmacies, all this, everything within ourselves.
Right.
So this patch is, you know, so they come in a pack and of 24, which lasts a month. But to be honest, I don't have a single client, and I've had many using them, who has to use the entire pack, because even with chronic condition like arthritis, within the longest maybe a week or two, people have such benefits, they just don't need them anymore. And for a month, I think that's $60 for a month of supply. So I mean, I think considering what they do, that's how they give you your life back, your freedom back.
Right.
It's like fractional price to pay.
Right, exactly.
That is amazing.
It's in the comfort of your home, right? I mean, you can just stick the patches on. My dad actually called me from Ukraine. He's a big runner, and he had a massive fall and tore his shoulders and ligaments. Anyway, he's like a mess. And he called me, he's like, finally, I tried them on. I've been begging him for months. I just don't know how it works. But he said, my shoulder's fine, my knee's fine. He says, I'm ready for a run. I'm like, no, please don't run anymore. Like, stop. Stop.
Come on, Dad, get on the mat or something. So I'm curious. Is it like is it like a size of a patch? You said like about a coin, like a circle, maybe a coin or larger?
Yeah, so it looks like a plaster. If you imagine like a clear plaster this big, that's what it looks like.
Okay.
So, but some of I mean, the technology actually I've been focusing on more recently is called, we've got Earthing Card, and I'll tell you more about it if you want to, and the EMF shield. Because the thing is with many people, this is while I'm talking to you, I just thought I'll show you. The thing is, with many people, when they think about health, they think it's what I eat, it's how much I exercise. Some maybe they meditate or whatever mindset work they do, but people don't really pay attention to environment. And I'm not talking about environment that's climate change or the pollution and all the plastic, that yes, but also electromagnetic radiation, and this electromagnetic radiation can happen naturally through the sun and through the lightnings, but a lot of it is a man-made, and that's a 5G, 4G, 3G, our laptops, our phones, and it has such a massive impact on our bodies, because what happens with this radiation, it vibrates very incoherently. It's like all over the place, while we humans, we have a very coherent vibration. And the clash between the two causes massive damage to our tissues and cells. So these products, they're like Earthing Card EMF shields, that protect us from radiation by removing the harmful frequencies of electromagnetic fields and just neutralizing and harmonizing our bodies. So this is basically the two products I've been focusing on. And the reason is because so many clients have come to me saying, I can't sleep, I've got headache, I've got fatigue, I've got this and that, and sometimes nothing would help them. And I was like, what's going on here? And only when we started really digging around into the environment, like with the COVID, right? We all got stuck at home with laptops and phones. The kids at home studying online, some people putting Wi-Fi boosters. I mean, we're just drowning in that radiation. And amazingly, I've got doctors I work with, and I've got, scientists, biologists, and they were like, they couldn't even understand what was going on with them. And we just, just by getting the EMF shield, they said the quality of sleep has improved, the headaches are gone, they're not dizzy, they've got more energy. And that is just protection from, from electromagnetic radiation.
Wow. That's, it's amazing just to even understand how energy can truly, impact a person's health overall. And so just hearing that,
we're all energetic beings, right? So it's
exactly.
it makes sense.
All of us is energy. Exactly.
Yeah.
So tell me what the Earthing Card. So it's you're just also in case people are watching this just or listening to this just on podcast. It's a card, just looks like a credit card size.
Yeah, you're obviously familiar with benefits of earthing or grounding, same thing, right? So there's actually a great documentary on Netflix called The Earthing Movie, and I knew about the benefits of earthing, but that just blew my mind. I mean, people with chronic illnesses, they have this, recoveries when the mainstream medicine says, like, there's nothing we can do for you. Even children, ladies over 96-year-old playing tennis just from earthing. And that's walking barefoot, because we charge our body with electrons that we receive from the ground when we walk barefoot. But I don't know about you, I don't walk barefoot much in my garden. Maybe when I go to the beach.
I'm a weirdo though, but I do believe in grounding, and I like to do that. But I'm selective about where I walk barefoot.
Exactly, right? I'm like, this dog food is like bird food, I don't know, just there's a worm or whatever. I'm like, no. So this actually gives you the benefits of grounding without even having to take your shoes off. And what it also does, it protects you from radiation, electromagnetic radiation, not just when you have it on you, but within 3-meter radius. So if your neighbors have a Wi-Fi boosters or they've got really strong signals, if you live to 5G, and I know I've got some clients in 5G in America who had 5G transmitters put outside their houses, and some of them, actually, one guy specifically had a brain tumor operation shortly after. And even after, he'd get such headaches and dizziness. He actually went back to the doctors. He thought the tumor returned. And the doctor said, you're all clear, go home, here's the drugs, go medicate yourself. In the meantime, he got EMF shield, so for his phone, laptop, he said within hours, he could feel the difference, hours. And it's been about 4 months. He said not a single headache, not a dizzy spell. really high levels of energy. And he also uses some other products like immunity patches. So his dreams came back and started dreaming again. So the earthing card has got this frequencies extracted from earth, and it's programmed into this card. And I have some clients with even chronic illnesses like fibromyalgia, Lyme disease, and there's no mainstream cure for it. And just using the card, not even a week later, they're saying the energy levels are so high. 4 months later, not a single flare up. You know, one of my clients, she's a medical professional. She's a brain cognitive specialist, and she had to cancel so many appointments. And now she's like 4 months, not a single cancel appointment, because she just feels energized. She feels great. So this is for pain relief, for energy. My favorite thing with this is I can change the flavor of my wine. How cool is that, right?
Wow.
It changes frequencies of your food and water. So if, you know, when you open a bottle of wine and then you close it because you can't finish a full bottle and it becomes corked after 2 days, you wave the card and it brings its full bodiness into your food and water and your wine.
Get out of here.
I like wine.
Are you seriously?
Yeah,
That's so incredible.
I've got a doctor I work with, and she bought this card for her daughter. And she rang me the other day, and she said, my daughter's energy levels are higher than normal, but amazing thing is she's got a dead bouquet of flowers in her room, and she waved the card. She went to shower, she came back, and the flowers came back alive. She said, can it happen? I'm like, yeah, it can, because it changes frequencies.
Wow.
And I think it's incredible, especially for little kids. You know, I use it on my daughter. She's 6 when she's in pain. It's amazing. So this is,
So just to make sure I fully understand this, right? So you're saying if I have this card and basically I just keep it on me, right?
It's on your person. That's a good question. So
and then,
I mean, you can, if you've got any, let's say if you've got any chronic pain or any health conditions, ladies carry it in the bra, a lot of them that I work with, you know. I normally just leave it on my table, on my desk, wherever I work, because I use it for EMF, for the radiation. When I sleep, I take it next to me. I only use it really, you know, when I've got like tension headache. We've got some products, patches called Revive, specifically for migraine. But I just lean against it, and I know within a couple of minutes, I'm pain-free.
Wow.
And we work with, you know, we've been working with holistic practitioners for the last 7 years. And actually one of them, Dr. Joseph Goss, he's an oral surgeon. He has about 8 of them in his briefcase, he says. He carries them to his practice because when he does like a medical procedure, he'll give it to his clients. And I've got like pictures even of his clients sitting there with, you know, this card taped around. And they're saying even the worst of the pain is gone. So yeah, a lot of doctors use this already.
Wow.
And so how long is the card good for? Does it last for a couple of months, a year? Like how good is it good for?
It's 3 years, at least 3 years. Yeah, it depends really what you do with it. I know a lot of people shower and bath with it for extra energy, but it's about 3 years. And the EMF shield that goes on the back of the phone, that's a year. So you just stick it on your phone, your laptops, and you protect it from all of this stresses, same as the earthing card.
I'm excited. I want to try this.
I
had the shields. I don't have one right now, but I've had the shields in the past, and I have friends that are always walking around with the shields on their phones. Do they sell those for like laptops as well? Is it recommended or just primarily?
So on the laptop, you just put 2 of these. On a laptop, I've got Wi-Fi, router. I keep wanting to put on my TV, but I've just always run out of them. Wireless printers, baby monitors. And if you've got any friends with small babies, that's a big one. To keep baby monitors as far as possible from the cribs, and just put it also on microwave. Some doctors put it on the hair dryer because that's a massive hub for electromagnetic radiation. Hoovers. So yeah, you can put it anywhere really.
Wow. This is very, very interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, I really am excited about, because I've always been a big proponent of trying to block out as much the electromagnetic radiation during sleep, especially because I 100% can notice the difference. If my husband, and he knows me well enough now, because I'm your phone has to be on airplane mode and all the background off, and ideally on the other side of the room. And so generally, and my husband, when he first, I started forcing him to do that, he he would forget a lot. And I was like, I could tell, like without even, I just noticed in my sleep, the quality of my sleep, the either lack of dreaming or the strangeness in my dreams that, you know, the kind of rigid stop start type of dreaming. I believe in having quality dreams. And so right now I drink every night the pure cherry, organic cherry extract for the purposes of having a little bit more deeper dream, deeper sleep, really getting deeper into REM cycle. And it really allows for a bit more, I don't know how to explain it without sounding strange, but lucid dreaming. So you dream and your dreams are very vivid. Yes. And it's a good thing for the brain. But I find it really interesting that if, you know, I want to I'm not that I would not turn my phone off on airplane mode and all of that still, but I think it would be great to have something else to block it out. Cause as you're saying, you know, we have boosters in our home, our neighbors, I'm sure have boosters, and even just having, you know, the Wi-Fi running and stuff right now, everybody is looking to boost signals and things because they've got multiple folks in the home that are, as you said, doing homeschooling and the parents on Zoom meetings and things all day long. So no, I think it's a great idea to even explore that for some time. And the number of people that suffer from migraines is just, it's heartbreaking because, you know, I mean, I cannot imagine living through the day to day, trying to function with, you know, debilitating migraines all day. So what's the harm in inviting this into your environment so that you can observe the differences in your energy and even maybe the healing, you know, from things like the migraines. So very interested.
Wow. I'm like blown away. I'm learning so much. And so Jasmine, you did mention about, you know, telling your husband to put his phone on airplane mode, and is it to block out frequency waves or some sort?
Yes, to completely shut off all the activity. Yep. But
Mm.
it doesn't always, it doesn't turn off everything. You have to also turn off the background. I mean, essentially the phone is still calling signal even with airplane
Gotcha.
mode. So you have to shut off all the background activity. So it essentially put it in the kind of extreme power save basically to shut it all off. So then you don't have anything moving in it and it can keep it charged and whatnot. But I like, you know, having it in the room is always good in case an emergency happens. You want to grab it, but otherwise, you know, I would rather not have it anywhere near me while I'm sleeping. I want to rest, you know? Yeah.
Interesting.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. And I mean, so many teenagers asleep with them under the pillows.
Right.
You know, it's a big thing. And I know some parents actually were complaining to me, they put Wi-Fi boosters in the kids' bedroom and they got so anxious, they couldn't sleep.
Mm-hmm.
It's one case I heard, the boy was charging the phone and he put the phone under the pillow and then the pillow caught fire. I mean, it's just, it's crazy what's going on there. So I think there needs to be a lot more awareness about that. And I mean, putting phone on on a play mode is definitely the way to go, or switch it off ideally. But it still, you know, doesn't really stop it, and especially during the day. Especially men carry it in the pockets, and their health risks have been linked to infertility, ADHD in children, not to mention the insomnia, headaches, and, you know, those are the mildest symptoms. There's a lot of information already out there on the internet about, you know, what damage it causes to our health.
It's true. And it's still so new. That's what a lot of the skeptics they don't want to acknowledge it, but we are not, I mean, even in my generation, we were not raised with cell phones. Like I didn't have my dad was the cool guy because he was in IT and he had a cell phone that was like, you know, probably about this big. It was like maybe 3 times the size and definitely at least twice or so the thickness of a regular cell phone. And, you know, was basically like a car phone without the connector. If you remember the old school car phones, it was a huge block. And, you know, he was the cool dad that had the cell phone in the neighborhood. But none of my friends even had, you know, if they had pagers or beepers, if anybody knows what those are.
I remember those.
Where you would rush off to get a phone to call someone back. That was, yes. And that, you know, so, I mean, it's in the last, 30 years, not even 20, 25 years, where it's been the last 20 even years that people have been purchasing them for their kids in the last 10 years. You know, even my daughter, when she was young and she's going to be 16, I mean, it just wasn't common that people would be purchasing phones to give to their kids. to go
Right,
and
right.
have with them 100% of the time. And, I even find it funny. My daughter goes, well, now she's, homeschooling, but she goes to a high school that they don't allow the kids to have cell phones or use their cell phones in school. And that the parents were also angry about it. And what if I need to get in touch with my child? And she's like, the principal at one of the initial orientations, this was last year, she says, well, there's these things, they're called phones, and we have them. They're called corded phones that we have in all of our offices, and all of our teachers have them in their classrooms. And they pick
Yeah.
up these fun little devices called corded phones, and you can call them.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
That's
I like the
great.
school. I like the principal.
Me too.
Yeah, I
That
think
was
every
my,
school should be like that.
I was like, she
Brilliant.
wins. She's my favorite principal ever. Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, don't let
Yeah,
the kids be
brilliant.
distracted and feel like they, have to survive with their phones. I mean, even as adults, we're guilty of that. Like the idea that you would leave home without your phone for, even just to run to the market, you get a little bit of anxiety, like a separation anxiety from from being away from your phone. So, it's
No
good
doubt.
to just, communicate that the need to just detox, even just the break for the mind. But then we're talking about
Yeah.
the benefits of separating yourself from this kind of radiation too. It's, and it's, I'm
Yeah.
sure, for the mind and for the body, it's healing.
Absolutely. As I'm hearing you guys talk about this, and my mom, like, shoot, I need to go do some research. I mean, all this energy, radiation, I think it's important to learn and understand. But, for Lena, how important do you think it is for just people in general to just learn about holistic and just a natural way of living?
Well, I mean, I think we kind of live in this time where ignorance is a choice, really, because there's so much information out there. And I think a lot of reason why people just not want to do that is because they're living by the programs, but they kind of in a mode that the parents told them this and the grandparents told them that, and they're just kind of stuck in
Mhm.
that rut. They just can't break out of that. And for
Right,
some, it's going to be hard. And I think everybody's got their own path to walk in this life, right? We can only get the
right.
information out, and
Hmm.
sometimes we can't help people we want to help. So, but all I know is that everybody who is open-minded and trying the different modalities, really, not even necessarily this patches or earthing cards, but for some people, oils will resonate better. For other people, it's going to be chanting sounds, whatever it may be. And I just know that they will have a healthier and more energized life. So my question is, why wouldn't you want it? And the only
Right.
reason is because we're kind of stuck in our set of behaviors and all programs that run there in our subconscious mind.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. I remember growing up, I hardly went to the doctor. Hardly. I think after a certain age, after I get all my vaccines, I can't. And I think the only time if I did go to the doctor, it was just to get my annual physical exam, just so I can play sports. But besides that, I never went. And so my family's from Haiti. And, my mom, my aunts, and my uncles, everything is all natural remedy. They have all these type of oils that they will just get from plants, and especially we got this oil is called l'huile masqueti. So don't forget that's called l'huile masqueti. And let me say, they use it for everything. You get hurt, they'll take it, they'll rub it on you, and it's like, man, these things work. And so I was just always intrigued by that. And so as we're having this conversation from a holistic standpoint, yeah, I'm pretty sure these things are out there, and sometimes I think what people don't know, I mean, you don't know, right? And so it's just you can only hope that you come across somebody or see this information somewhere to where it's going to grab people attention and say, oh wow, there's an alternative way of healing and treatment approaches to whatever condition I may have. And so as I'm sitting here and just hearing you talk about this, for me it's very intriguing. I'm like, oh, look at this. So now I'm gonna do some more research, and I might end up buying something. Especially I think about my mom too, as she's getting older in age, and I think she could definitely benefit from this.
Absolutely. So, and just so that I'm clear and our listeners are also clear, if they wanted to do some research online, is the right term to look up biofield resonance technology, BRT?
Yeah, they can do. I mean, there's also, on our website, there is under frequently asked questions, there is a whole concept about the BRT, biofield resonance technology, because you get different modalities, I mean, obviously you get the patches, you also get another product called Healy, that kind of scans your energy fields around you, and you can also put different apps and programs to raise your levels of energy. So there are different modalities, I guess. But yeah, they can look at BRC, or they can just go on our website and have a read through there.
Very good. Yeah. So I think we'll get there to the end. We'll have you tell the website and information. Are you doing business in the U.S. right now? If someone wanted to order products in the United States?
Well, the company is American. They're actually based in Massachusetts.
Oh, okay. Wonderful.
Yeah.
So for sure we could get products here, right? We could.
Yeah. And it's a lot cheaper for you guys than for us. So yeah, absolutely.
Okay. All right. Well, that's exciting. So we could get it in probably fairly quickly, right? We all want everything like in 2 days, like Amazon.
Right.
Where in America are you?
So I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Okay.
And I'm in Denton, Texas, just 30 minutes north of Dallas.
Okay. I used to work in Texas. I know Texas is big. Houston. I love this.
Okay. Yeah.
Houston.
Yeah. Houston could be a bit humid, and for me, now originally I'm from Miami, Florida, and
the communities there.
So. I can never get used to the sun. It's too hot for me, and it's so humid. And for me, I'm a sweater, and the moment I step foot outside, I'm just drenched in sweat. So I remember, I think when I went to Houston, it was during the summer, and my goodness, I just couldn't stop sweating, and I was just, my whole clothes was just wet. I was like, yeah, this is not fun.
Yeah, I still remember walking there, and the kids are playing basketball. I'm like, I could not even stand being a minute outside. It was just such and they're playing basketball. I was like, how did they do that?
They don't feel anything, the kids, that's they play, everything else disappears. We should learn from them, right? It's like it's just hard to reprogram ourselves to go back to that state where we just can engage and enjoy the moment. We're just so distracted by the sensations. I'm the same way. I sweat like crazy. So I'm like, the moment I walk out, I'm like, oh yeah, the humidity. And I still do it. I think it's funny. I think I've been more comfortable with my sweating as I took Bikram back because you have to get used to it being in the Bikram room because you're just drenched the entire time.
Yeah.
I think it conditioned me to be more accepting to myself and my sweat.
No, absolutely. And so, Lena, so clearly it seems like, this product has changed the life of your clients, and in which you have already, gave the example of your mother, and it's clear to see. And so my question is, so you started with your mother, who was basically, I guess, the test subject, but I'm just curious to know, how large is your client base now?
I don't know. I mean, I've got hundreds of clients. Some people just may be interested in EMF shields, because my message always to everyone, even if you need nothing and you're healthy, everybody needs EMF shields. So some of them just order EMF shields and that's it. I've got one client, she found me through Facebook. She had cancer, I think last year or the year before, and she was in a lot of pain, and she also gained a lot of weight. She was bloated. And she's a very holistic lady, so she's into Reiki and meditation. She eats only organic, vegetarian, and nothing was helping her. And within about 10 days of using Relief, she rang me. She goes, oh my gosh, I can function. I'm pain-free, finally. So then she also used, Burn. It's another product we've got for detox and weight loss. And that just gave her like more energy. And, so she is also one of my clients, but she will just get products on a regular basis. So, I mean, but I've got people come and going, so I can't really keep track of them, but probably run about 100. They've got but as I said, they have been around for the last 7 years. And we have a lot of medical practitioners. We've got a medical and advisory board, and they've got hundreds of clients of their own also, mostly situated in America, because they only really made these products available worldwide February this year. So still relatively new.
Oh, okay. Okay. Wow. Very interesting.
Right,
Very
so it is
interesting.
available worldwide. So if the listeners are in other countries, they'd be able to access the products as well.
Yes, the only country I know we can't ship to right now is South Africa, which is frustrating because I've got so many people wanting to get them, but we're working on that also. I think that the lockdown kind of,
Oh,
being a little bit too strict there, so we're struggling to get things in there, but everywhere else, pretty much, yes.
awesome. Very good.
Yeah. Oh, so wonderful. Well, so I want to ask you a question. So as a healthcare disruptor, what innovative approach has your company taken to change healthcare in general? Because it seems like, you would think you would probably hear something like this even more, right? Being that, there's hospitals and physicians. But again, for me, this is my first time hearing of this. So how do you feel this product or your company is going to be able to impact healthcare for the long term?
Well, I think energies and frequencies is definitely the way to go. And it's interesting now, when I connect with so many holistic practitioners, all of a sudden, these are like the two new words that everybody is just using because they're realizing how powerful we are as human beings. And,
Right.
just by changing our energy levels, we can really heal ourselves. So, these products, they use very specific homeopathic frequencies, which help to harmonize human energy fields. And I don't think it can be more innovative than this, really. They scientists that found a way of extracting that energy and frequency from nature and then programming them into little holograms that enable us to achieve optimal health energetically. So my dream really one day is to have this, how you go to the pharmacy now and you get this big kind of pharmaceutical giant. So do something like that, but for alternative medicine. So there's no more of these pharmacies, but we have all the modalities like essential oils, patches, whatever there are. There's so many of them, but we're all separate now. And somehow to get them under one roof, and that's so people can just go into the shop and just pick whatever works for them.
Absolutely.
So
that's a phenomenal idea. It's a phenomenal idea, and it's interesting, Lena, that so many folks they gravitate so dearly to medication and things like that, and we talk about the side effects and things that just endless, those lists of side effects. And you look at exploring this holistic lifestyle and all these alternative ways to treat conditions. There really is no downside. You learn, you get to explore, you get to see what works for you. And there's not this, 20 pages of side effects and, and where you wake up the next day, you might look like a different person, feel like a different person. And, you can just observe the changes in your body, which is I think how we were built, our bodies were built to do. So
absolutely, yeah. It's not even us like learning how to do things; it's unlearning. Just going back to basics. Because once you drop all of that and you reprogram your beliefs, that's a lot of it. Obviously, is up here. We can really, we can achieve many things really in our lives and heal ourselves naturally.
Yep. Being open. Yes. So on that note, how could our listeners or viewers get in touch with you or start to follow you and what you're doing with your companies?
Well, I'm on LinkedIn, just Lena Thompson. They can find me, probably the best way. Also, they can email me, which you've got my email, it's Thompson, _Lena, LENA@gmail.com. And our company, and our company website, I'll share a link with you guys also. It's naturesfrequencies.com /UK. So that's my site. Okay. And if you want to go check out products,
absolutely.
Email to get in touch with me. Then you can do that.
Yeah, we'll definitely make sure to place your links, your email, your LinkedIn profile. If it's okay, we can even add your Facebook profile as well too, so that way people can directly again follow you or just get in touch with you if they would like to get some more information. I mean, shoot, I might end up reaching out to you, say, hey, Lena, let me check out that card again, because Again, I think it's really interesting, and as we continue to put this type of content out there, it will really just allow people to learn more about it, and hopefully more people will just reach out to you, and you'll be able to answer their questions and help them out.
Yeah, but it's all
Yeah,
about
that would be
impact.
great. Thank you. Yeah.
All about
All right.
impacting lives and healing. I love it.
Yes, absolutely. And no bad energy. I want all the good energy.
Well, the earthing card, like one of our quantum physicians who actually is on a board with our company, he says this is like having a permanent law of attraction in my pocket.
That's
So
right.
if you want to have these frequencies, this is the way to go.
Oh, I need it. I need it.
Wonderful,
All about
wonderful.
that.
All right. Well, thank you, Lena, for coming on the show today. We truly appreciate it, for dropping so much knowledge and just educating us just about energy and just living that natural lifestyle, right? And so, without any further ado, thank you again for coming on the show, and we'll see you guys later on next time. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you for listening.
All
Be
right.
sure to check back for new episodes of Healthcare Disrupted. Find out more at www.healthcaredisrupted.org. Until next time.